Well, the winter solstice of the show has passed as 8 contestants on the 8th episode has turned into 7 contestants on the 9th. We here at Poached have all decided to go ahead and get COVID in solidarity to Haxon being cut. So let's hurry before the fever breaks and break down Top Chef Season 19, Episode 9, Freedmanstown. The group is feeling small and the number 7's still sinking in. Jay feels like she's still growing and learning as a chef, but Ashley's still on that sweet high from her win on Episode 8.
Oh God, I don't know. I just need to enjoy this moment for right now.
We meet our quickfire judge, Nyesha Arrington, who appears to make eyes at Damar. Padla laments that she's eaten a lot of meat since she's been in Houston, so she wants to switch it up. So each of the contestants draw knives to find out what color they have to use to make a monochromatic vegetarian dish. Damar puts on his happy face because he picked green.
You don't look too happy, Damar, with green.
Green?
I thought I had my happy face on.
Jay, who picked red, tells us about her time as a child picking strawberries.
Farmers, and I used to help them out picking strawberries. I was a baby labor.
Ashley's never tried to cook in one color, but she grabs a bunch of vegetables and...
Yeah, they were all yellow.
That's gonna be so stupid. Evelyn picked black, and she laments that most black vegetables are my polar opposite.
Unfortunately, most black vegetables are black on the outside, but inside tend to have a white flesh.
Whereas I'm pasty white on the outside, but inside my soul is black as the night. At the top was Buddha, Evelyn, and Nyesha's crush. Damar getting the last bit of immunity for the season just in time to swap some cooties with a judge.
I love you, baby.
In celebration of the upcoming Juneteenth holiday, the contestants need to make food that speaks from their soul. And before they start noodling on what they're going to make, they get an inspiring tour of Bethel Church that was constructed in the 1890s and played a huge role in helping transition the newly freed black Americans into their new lives of emancipation. We also get to see Reverend Jack Yates' son's house, where he started the first black-owned newspaper in Houston. The 7 start talking about the origination of what their dish is becoming. Each of them have an inspiring family member, drawing from their background and their culture. Nick wants to make his Nana's salmon cast iron cake. Buddha wants to make his grandmother's curry. Jay wants to make a fish and shrimp bisque, drawing inspiration from her mother and the food of her culture. Ashley is making her low country crab rice with oyster gravy. Evelyn is making a dish with her grandmother's sopes and her mother's chorizo. Damar is making collard greens and ham hocks and corn hoe cakes. Luke wants to make his mom's meatloaf. We learned as a child that he was a very picky eater and some sort of savant child negotiator.
As long as I tried it, I never had to eat that again.
At this point, Buddha talks a lot about his dad and how he passed away the week he found out he was going to be on this season of Top Chef. And at this point, it really kind of blew my mind. What are the judges going to do? Rating the inspiration of each of these contestants' dishes is starting to become a real personal endeavor.
Which is like, how can you judge that?
They get to Bethel Church and they start cooking. We get to learn more and more about each of the dishes in the latter half of the episode. Buddha's curry looks and sounds out of this world. And like a boss, his full course is cooked and ready to serve 10 minutes early.
Buddha, are you done?
I am done.
Nick impresses Luke with his grandmother's recipe, and I just love the way he talks.
Damn, Nick.
That's Grandma there, man.
That is tasty
Grandma
stuff,
Nana.
man.
Such a good woman, too. Makes you almost want to shed a tear.
Ashley's running out of time, but the real stress is watching Damar burn his hoe cakes.
You gotta get these hoe cakes right.
By the way, I know that term hoe cakes is just sitting there waiting for me to crack a joke, but all I can think about is one of the most tragic losses from 2020, the one and only legendary MF Doon. Jay's Fish is a huge hit, and Tom reminds us that
capital of South Korea is Seoul.
You must have soul. You're a soul man. Why don't you share with everyone where you're from?
Korea.
Evelyn's beet sopes are amazing, and what sort of monstrosity is Kwame wearing on his hand?
Seasoning was spot on. It had acid, it had a dick.
Did Donald Trump and Michael Jackson have their own men's jewelry line? It kind of reminds me of that show Amazing Stories from the 80s, where that kid gets hit with a meteor and he's magnetized, and the whole day at school everything's like magnetized and stuck to him. Have you seen it? It's insane. It's crazy. Only with Kwame, it only affects his hand. Damar's dish is also incredible, and the judges are starting to sweat about who they're supposed to pick as their favorite and who they're supposed to cut. At the end, there wasn't a lot of negative feedback to give, but there was a lot of emotion. Jay and Damar really hit it out of the park today, but it was Jay who took home the accolades. Ashley, Luke, and Buddha's dishes had issues, but as I'm hearing from my friends who've watched previous seasons, if you're going to do something simple, you've got to nail it. And unfortunately, Luke's meatballs just did not blow anybody's minds. So they sent Luke home. This episode focused a lot about the concept of soul. A lot of people believe that the soul is where our good and bad deeds are imprinted forever. Who you are, who you were, who you've helped from day to day to make this world a little bit better place to live. The contestants were moved to celebrate the people in their lives that made a difference. And it was moving to watch them celebrate the souls of the loved ones. Almost 40 years since the last federal holiday was recognized, Juneteenth represents a stain on the soul of this country. Albeit far too late already, it's up to all of us to treat each other with kindness and inspire one another to greatness. An old New Yorker cartoon that always fascinated me, two dogs in three-piece suits sitting at a bar drinking martinis. One of them looks at the other one and says, it's not enough that we succeed, but cats must also fail. I wish it goes without saying, but don't be like a cartoon dog. Goodbye, Luke. See you next week.
From the Bible to the Quran, Revelation in Jerusalem, Shalom, Salam Alaikum. You can see Christians, Jews and Muslims living together and praying, Amen.
Oh my God, it's late. I'm a little tired. 2 more pages. Okay, baby, let's do this. Origination. The 7 start talking about the origination of what their dish is becoming. Each of them have an inspiring family member drawing from their background and their culture. I did it! Drawing from their background and culture. You got it. I had to do that, though.